Good evening, and thank you for joining me for Lansing's first virtual State of the City. Before I begin tonight, I want to recognize the passing of Olivia Letts earlier this week. The name Olivia Letts is synonymous with excellence, kindness, and courage. She was a trailblazer who became the first black school teacher in the Lansing Public Schools. Olivia and her husband, the late Dick Letts, formed a power couple for social justice and community activism. Her passing is deeply saddening, and I'm grateful to have known such a woman of grace. I can honestly say that Lansing is a better place because of her. For the last 11 months, we've had our worlds completely altered. It's been a challenging time here in Lansing and across the world. I know we were all anxiously awaiting the time when we can once again gather in person. As more vaccinations are administered every day throughout our community, that time is getting closer. Over the past year, we've lost many friends and neighbors to COVID-19. And like so many of you, I've had friends and loved ones who've fallen victim to this terrible virus. It's been a brutal time for so many families. Please keep those we've lost in your thoughts and memories. Let me start by thanking some of the people who support both me and the city and keep me going when the world is throwing curveballs. First, I want to recognize and thank my family. The last year has been as challenging for us as it has been for many other families across our city. Like so many others, we work from home as much as possible, and our kids are doing at-home learning through the Lansing School District. I'm grateful for the support of my wife, Erin, and my children, Ryan and Hannah. I can't do this job without you. I'd also like to thank my city council partners. A truly effective city government needs a strong partnership between the mayor and city council. I'm thankful for the relationship my administration has built with Council President Spatafor, Vice President Adam Hussein, and all the members of City Council as we continue to work together to get the job done for our residents. I certainly can't do any of this work without our wonderful employees at the City of Lansing. We have a strong team, and I'm grateful for the hard work they do every day. Even in the midst of a pandemic, our police, firefighters, and EMS respond to calls. Our code and premise enforcement officers help those living and investing in Lansing. Our human relations and financial empowerment staff assist those in need. Our public service staff fill potholes and fix sidewalks. Our parks employees ensure that our residents have socially distant recreation opportunities. These are just a few examples of the great work being done by City of Lansing staff, and I truly appreciate our employees for their dedication to Lansing. Finally, thank you to the residents of the City of Lansing. Last March, when the coronavirus reached the city, we were all anxious about what this new virus was going to mean to us and our daily lives. Since then, we've learned a lot about how to protect ourselves and our families, not only by wearing masks and socially distancing, but by taking care of neighbors when they need it most, supporting local businesses by getting carryout and shopping local, and participating in virtual community conversations and events. We've certainly gone through a lot over the last year, and we've made so many adjustments to keep each other safe. My deepest thanks to all for protecting each other. As Governor Whitmer said last week, the state of our state is resilient. I agree with her. The state of the City of Lansing is also resilient and will continue to face challenges head on. No one expects a pandemic, but last March we were faced with the same questions as the rest of the country: how to provide city services while protecting our employees and residents. Fortunately, it's not something I had to take on alone. I knew it was important to pull together the absolute best talent to help us navigate this extraordinary challenge. Our emergency management team in the Lansing Fire Department, along with Linda Vale, the Ingham County Health Officer, contributed their expert advice and counsel as we guided the City of Lansing through this pandemic. My focus now is on mass vaccinations and ensuring that everyone can get the vaccine and are able to be immune from this terrible virus. I firmly believe that Linda Vale is the best health professional in the country, and we're lucky to have her expertise right here in Lansing.
Thank you so much, Mayor Schor, for such high praises. I have been blessed to be in this community. I came 7 years ago and really didn't understand the magnitude of how much this community steps up over and over and over again to do the work for the common good of this community. So a year ago, we had our first press conference. Our partners were there, including the mayor, to basically tell this community that we were prepared. COVID unraveled in ways that none of us expected, but time and time again, this community stepped up. Everything from the Chamber of Commerce and relaunched Greater Lansing, a biotech committee that basically repurposed manufacturing to create PPE, hand sanitizer, and now we move forward into the vaccination part. of this long effort. And we have, again, been blessed with so many partnerships. The City of Lansing helping with traffic, Michigan State University traffic security facilities, Lansing Urgent Care being willing to basically help us anywhere in the community we need them, our health systems also vaccinating in the public, CATA basically offering to give rides to anybody that does not have accessibility to get where we are right now, or to get any place that they might need to get a vaccine. Those are the kind of partnerships we have. We're blessed to be in this community, and we can do this together.
Our partnerships to fight COVID were not just local. Communities across the state and the world are dealing with the same challenges. The support of Congress and our state legislature is more critical than ever. State Representatives Sarah Anthony, Kara Hope, and Angela Whitwer, along with State Senator Curtis Hertel Jr., have been fierce advocates for additional funding for Lansing, and I thank them for their continued support. I also greatly appreciate the advocacy of our Congresswoman, Alyssa Slotkin, and our U.S. Senators, Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters, for pushing Congress to help cities that have taken the brunt of the economic damage. We must be able to provide services for our residents, and our federal representatives recognize that. I implore our federal officials to pass a comprehensive plan to provide stimulus funds for cities as soon as possible in order to stave off cuts to the services that residents expect. And I also have to thank Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She's had to make some tough decisions that weren't always popular, but I know she's taking the necessary actions to keep Michiganders safe and healthy. COVID-19 is just one of the critical challenges that Lansing and so many communities across the nation had to face in the past year. Last summer, bias and racial injustice became front and center with the horrific killing of George Floyd by police in Minneapolis. This launched a renewed and important push for racial justice and equity. We must face the harsh reality of inequality and injustice for Black and Brown community members in our community. These conversations can be uncomfortable and difficult, but they're necessary. Lansing is a proudly diverse city. We remain focused on ensuring everyone is able to access city resources and that all people are treated with the same level of respect and dignity, regardless of the color of their skin or how they identify. We continue to evaluate our processes and policies both internally and externally. Last summer, after some evaluation, we took action that created immediate change. I worked with Police Chief Darrell Green to reform our traffic stop policies for minor offenses and to eliminate no-knock searches. Thank you, Chief Green, for your leadership making these important changes. We were also one of only 6 communities nationwide chosen to participate in the Cities Addressing Fines and Fees Equitably project. Our financial empowerment team worked with 54A District Court and with those facing past due fines from driving on a suspended license. Significant fees owed to the court were waived if the person met with a financial counselor at Cristo Rey Community Center's Financial Empowerment Center. It's our hope to use what we learned to further assess the impact and equity of other fines and fees and the impacts on our community members. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the judges and staff of the 54A District Court. Throughout the pandemic, our courts have continued to operate and be innovative in order to ensure that justice could be administered. I'm grateful to Chief Judge Louise Alderson and 54A Court Administrator Anithia Brewer, a valued and important member of my cabinet, for their tireless work these past 10 months. As a leader, it's my job to pull together experts and listen to their recommendations. That's why I brought in Teresa Bingman, an expert on racial justice, to lead our racial justice and equity effort. She's working closely with me, with Chief Green, Director Coleman, Director Linda Sanchez-Gazella, and Lansing's own Willard Walker. We've formed the Mayor's Racial Justice and Equity Alliance and engaged dozens of community leaders throughout the region. Together, we're creating the Lansing Racial Justice and Equity Plan. The Alliance worked with me to craft and issue an executive directive to ensure city staff receive important training to prevent implicit bias at the city and to utilize the knowledge of national efforts like the Government Alliance on Race and Equity. The Mayor's Racial Justice and Equity Alliance will hold a community update later this month. Look for more details to be announced soon about how to participate in that meeting.
Hello, I am attorney Teresa Bingman. You will be hearing from Kimberly Coleman, Director of Human Relations and Community Services for the City of Lansing, and Police Chief, Dr. Darrell Green. Together, we lead the planning process for the Mayor's Racial Justice and Equity Alliance, the MRJEA, along with Mr. Willard Walker, Mrs. Linda Sanchez Gazella, and the City of Lansing's first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Director, Ms. Guadalupe Ayala. Mr. Mayor, thank you for this opportunity to talk with Lansing citizens on this important evening. It has been refreshing to work under your leadership. We thank you for supporting our coordinated work with accomplished members of the MRJEA and city department heads who are organized into committees to identify key issues and strategies that impact various sectors and to frame content for the final report.
Hello, I'm Chief Darrell Green. In July, we released a set of racial justice and equity community action proposals that appear on the city's website. We're pleased to report that all items identified as immediate actions have been fulfilled. Also, all items listed as next steps in the community action proposals have been accomplished. We also continue to conduct an online survey for the public to access, and 10 of our community-based partners have facilitated focus groups to obtain additional public input. Thank you, and we look forward to another great year of progress.
Greetings. I'm Kim Coleman, Director of Human Relations and Community Service. We're grateful for our local, state, and federal partners who are working with us and informing our path forward. While the MRJEA members are developing strategic plans for each committee, we are on track to have a final report to the mayor along with identified issues and recommendations by May 31st. Members of the Lansing community, please know that Mayor Schor hears you. We hear you, and we, along with everyone involved in this vital work, will continue to listen and learn as we move forward with strength and courage to understand and identify disparities and work on solutions to achieving sustainable change. With that, we thank you. We thank you for your support and participation as we move toward positive transformation in our great city.
Thank you to Teresa and to everyone who's worked so hard on making these important recommendations for our city. Thank you also to Lansing's first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, Guadalupe Ayala. I appointed Guadalupe into this new position last year. She's a veteran city employee working in our Human Relations and Community Services Department and has deep ties to our community. She's hit the ground running, holding trainings for our cabinet and departments, and has already made a tremendous impact on our city. One of the many lessons that we learned in 2020 was the importance of human connection. Many of us went from seeing our colleagues at the office and dropping our kids off at school to navigating remote work and virtual school. Those who continued working in person had to adjust by practicing social distancing and following mask requirements. All of these changes to our daily social lives made it imperative to find ways to safely connect with our friends, family, and neighbors to keep some form of normalcy. That's why it was critical for the City of Lansing to act as a connector of neighbors, services, organizations, and resources. When we think back to the year 2020, I want us to remember not only the challenges we faced, but how we all came together to support one another. The City of Lansing worked with its partners to provide services and resources during unprecedented circumstances. While City Hall has been closed to the public since mid-March of last year, our employees have still been hard at work, both in person and remotely, to ensure services are delivered to our residents. We've offered unique recreation opportunities and ways to connect our community during these disconnected times with drive-through events such as the Mayor's Senior Fair, trick-or-treating on Halloween, and holiday lights at Francis Park. We've also continued to provide the necessary day-to-day services expected by our residents, like plowing the streets and picking up the trash, while still ensuring our employees are protected. We also ensured that every resident could participate in the important November election, including providing absentee ballots to all that wanted them and adding drop boxes and other resources for our residents. Thanks and congratulations to Lansing City Clerk Chris Swope and his staff for this incredibly successful effort. COVID-19 made us rethink how we work, but it's also been an opportunity to strengthen our partnerships. We reopened the Geyer Community Center to house those who were homeless and partnered with the City of East Lansing to provide dollars for the unsheltered, which is in addition to the annual dollars that Lansing allocates. We partnered with the Lansing School District to turn the Foster Community Center into a learning lab providing safe classroom space for Lansing students whose parents had to return to work in person. There haven't been any COVID-19 cases in the lab, thanks to parents keeping kids at home if they didn't feel well, thanks to kids wearing their masks and following protocols, and thanks to our staff keeping the kids safe and the building properly sanitized. Last summer, I also worked with several local and regional partners to create the Mayor's Community Response Cabinet. Through this group of nonprofit organizations, businesses, education partners, and community leaders, we worked together to combine resources and efforts. This was a time for all of us to come together to efficiently manage this crisis for the entire Greater Lansing region. The Community Response Cabinet created the One Lansing Fund to help our neighbors who were struggling to pay their rent or mortgages and to feed themselves and their families, and with so many other day-to-day needs. I'm grateful to the Capital Area United Way, the Community Foundation, the Greater Lansing Food Bank, the Lansing School District, LEAP, and other partners for their efforts to help those in need. But 2020 wasn't just about crisis. We also saw investment and economic growth in Lansing amidst the pandemic. We were able to open hundreds of new housing units downtown and along the Michigan Avenue corridor and in South Lansing. The beautiful Capital City Market officially opened at the corner of Michigan and Larch, providing fresh food to an area that was previously underserved for affordable food access. The new Courtyard by Marriott will open on the same block later this month, bringing us our first hotel in downtown Lansing in more than 30 years. Construction continued on important projects across the city, and I'm grateful for all those investing in Lansing. While many development projects continued, our small businesses felt the brunt of the pandemic. Many were forced to close for weeks or months at a time and have struggled to keep their doors open. Since the pandemic, my administration has been deliberate in efforts to keep our small businesses open. I worked with the Lansing Chamber of Commerce, serving on the task force to develop and introduce the Relaunch Greater Lansing Guidebook to help our businesses safely navigate COVID-19. I also worked closely with the Lansing Economic Area Partnership under the leadership of Bob Trezise to help get money to struggling Lansing businesses. In total, LEAP was able to provide more than $6.5 million in grants and loans to businesses in the region. And I'm proud that more than $2.5 million of those dollars went to small businesses located right here in our city. The City of Lansing and the Lansing Economic Development Corporation partnered to offer an additional $600,000 specifically for struggling small businesses in Lansing. These grants were successful in keeping the doors open at small businesses all over the city. LEDC Chair Calvin Jones and I met with many of the owners who expressed that this allowed them to keep from closing their doors and help pay their employees. Hearing their stories and knowing that we made a positive impact is exactly why I will continue to prioritize additional resources to keep small businesses open. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that we're launching the Lansing Cares program that will provide additional assistance to Lansing businesses and residents in need. The City of Lansing will use nearly $1.5 million through our federal community development block grant funds in several ways. First, we'll provide $600,000 towards emergency financial assistance and disaster planning training to small businesses in danger of going out of business due to COVID-19. These forgivable loans of between $5,000 and $50,000 will be issued to small businesses by our LEDC with the help of LEAP staff as quickly as possible. We'll also work with the Michigan Women Forward to provide $100,000 in emergency financial assistance and disaster planning training to City of Lansing micro enterprises in danger of going out of business due to COVID-19. Finally, we'll add $780,000 to the current funding we provide to prevent homelessness. This will include rent and mortgage payments for up to 3 months to Lansing residents and will be done together with Lansing's own Capital Area Housing Partnership. Our Office of Financial Empowerment has also stepped up to provide additional resources to Lansing residents to help in these uncertain economic times. They created a new section on the city's website called Managing Your Finances During COVID-19, which is a compilation of financial tips, resources, and information on basic needs like food, shelter, transportation, and utilities. Director Amber Paxton and the OFE team hosted a live weekly web series on Facebook to discuss finances and answer questions. And OFE received $80,000 in a grant from the National Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund to add an additional financial counselor for a year in response to the financial burden many of our residents are facing due to the pandemic. Through the What Works Cities Economic Mobility Initiative, we worked with several national organizations to advance economic mobility for our residents in Lansing. They help make data-driven decisions, including the implementation of a pilot program to incent current Lansing Promise scholars to achieve finance-related goals. We also created a grade-by-grade action plan for families to help them with the financial and educational aspects of their children's lives, which can be found on our Bold Lansing website. Now, more than ever, we've learned how important it is to find ways to better connect residents to their local government. This year, we'll make City Hall even more accessible remotely in a number of ways. I'm happy to announce that for the first time, our Department of Treasury will be accepting e-file for individual income tax returns. Since I took office, we've heard many people ask for this as an easier way to file taxes and to reduce the need for paper. We're working towards having this available on the website by spring of this year. Thank you to our treasurer, our city treasurer, Desiree Kirkland, for making this a reality. We're also in the process of completely transforming the city's website to make it easier for residents, visitors, and business owners to navigate and find what they need. Thank you to everyone who provided feedback throughout the website development process. This brand new modern website will also launch later this year. From my first day in office, I made a commitment to constituent services. Today, I'm taking that commitment one step further. I'm proud to announce the City of Lansing's 311 project, One Call to City Hall. This will be a one-stop shop for questions regarding any non-emergency city service. Later this year, citizens will be able to reach the City of Lansing by simply calling 311. One Call to City Hall is not a call center, it's an answering center, staffed by real people right here in Lansing who will be equipped to handle almost any problem, question, or complaint that residents may have. We'll provide better customer service for residents by addressing their concerns quickly and efficiently. Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo have both already implemented 311 systems. By leveraging partners with them, we'll save thousands of dollars and hundreds of staff hours by using resources that these two cities have offered to share to speed up our rollout and ease implementation. If you'd asked me 3 years ago where we'd be in early 2021, I never would have guessed that we would be taking on these crises. Certainly, no one predicted a pandemic or the economic challenges we would face as a result. But I know we're all ready to move forward and focus on what's next for this wonderful community. I started this speech by agreeing with Governor Whitmer that we are resilient. Lansing has been tested, and we're coming out stronger because of it. I'm proud of our team, our partners, our residents, and the work we've done the last 3 years, and I look forward to what's next in 2021 and beyond. Thank you.